Okay, so what's the big question guiding Stone's commentary? Basically, if AI marketing is so smart with all its algorithms and pattern detection, why does the old-fashioned psychology of human desire still seem to rule the game? In other words, can machine learning and big data ever really outsmart hardwired, even ancient human instincts? And who wins in this contest for your attention, belief, and, your wallet? Why does this matter? Well, because everywhere you look, marketing is evolving. Brands use algorithms to predict what ads you'll like, what products you'll click, and even how you might feel about things. The premise is that with enough data, we could automate persuasion, right? But Stone believes there's an illusion here, a kind of digital magic trick. At the heart of his argument is a warning. No matter how sophisticated the tech, human psychology still calls the shots. Let's break down his key insights. Stone says, first of all, marketing has always been about engineering what feels like choice, but is really just a choreographed performance. Traditional ads used spectacle, think flashy TV spots, to show us choices we'd already been nudged toward. Algorithms just mechanize the same old trick. The paper quotes something called the Machiavellian marketing framework, stating that the real power isn't in the options offered, but in WHO gets to set the frame. And that's pretty wild if you think about it. If you control what people see as possible, you almost don't even have to persuade them. They fall into line. But here's what's interesting. Stone is absolutely adamant that AI algorithms still obey the old circuitry of the human mind. All the data in the world can only amplify our pre-existing drives. Fear of missing out, wanting to belong, status anxiety. Machines can track what you click, sure, but they can't quite explain why it felt inevitable to click. That answer, he argues, is older than language. It's buried in emotion. So even if a neural network can predict what ad might work, the real conversion, the actual belief, always rides the current of emotion. Desire, fear, envy, not efficiency, not data, not code. Now, Stone digs into his Machiavellian marketing framework, sort of the backbone of his argument. This is not about creativity, he insists, but about control. 4 levers matter: control, perception, scarcity, and inevitability. If you control what the audience sees and feels, you essentially shape their reality. Scarcity, for example, makes things feel more valuable, and when inevitability is engineered, when it just feels like this brand or product was always going to be the right choice, resistance, he says, just collapses. Suddenly, it's not a fight for your attention, but for your belief in a reality someone else choreographed. I want to pause here because, I'm reminded of how even at academia conferences, you see tiny gestures influencing people, what topics are in the program, what's given spotlight, what gets ignored. It's not a conspiracy or anything, it's just, framing at work. Anyway, I digress. Just something I thought about. Circling back, Stone's strategic takeaway is clear. Algorithms can get your message everywhere, but they can't give it meaning. Minds, not machines, decide that. So, in a world bombarded by automated ads, the winning marketers are those who understand and shape the frame itself, not just who yells the loudest. The key, he says, is designing belief systems so coherent that alternatives just seem impossible. Yikes. Now, what does this mean for you, the listener? Well, next time you're being advertised to on, say, social media or your favourite podcast, maybe like this one, but hopefully not, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I choosing freely, or am I inside someone else's carefully engineered frame? Whose story am I living? All right, that's all from me today. Remember, academic research is not gospel. It's an invitation to reflect, to question, maybe even to challenge what you think you know. Thanks for joining me on In Depth with Academia. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and join me next time as we uncover more insights, sometimes surprising, sometimes unsettling, but always worth exploring. See you soon.